coach people.
So part two to this soul contract thing. So I end up having more conversation than I needed to with this person because, like I said, I already knew that some of these people would never understand anything that I was saying. And this is how you know you are vibrating on a higher level than them, when you starting to realize your worth, and when you starting to treat yourself a little different than you did before. And then when you're ready to elevate and they not, that's how you know it's time for you to level up and go for something that's on your level, something that you can recognize and deal with. So I told this guy that I need to be on a level where it suits me the best, which is carry myself on the highest level ever, put myself on a pedestal and say that I am a queen. I deserve my king, I deserve my kingdom, and I deserve my kingdom husband. And I am looking for a soulmate, a partnership, a strong foundation, you know, my Mr. Everything. And I wasn't gonna compromise for nothing. So I was like, even though me and you are on a good vibe, like we're good peoples, we're on a good level, and we're vibing with each other very well every day. We have great conversations, and sometimes we be having fun. I just know that it only goes on that. It doesn't go further than that, because when we talk about what we want out of life and how we willing to get it, we don't have the same things in common. We don't speak the same language. We don't see the same things, and we don't treat, it's like we don't want what the other person wants. This person was looking for temporary. He wants something casual, and I wanted something real and deeper, and I wasn't going for casual. I'm 35 years old. I'm not at that level of being casual anymore, because my life is just too short to be playing around with anybody. And rightfully so, I had to let him go and keep searching for what I deserve. So he got upset. He was disappointed. You could hear it in his voice. And I had to make him feel like he wasn't a bad person, which he wasn't. But what you trying to ask from me was very selfish. And he wanted to get it from me so bad, which was a casual relationship. And he just wanted to get what he wanted, and he wasn't really thinking about me and what I want. And my feelings didn't count on this level, because as long as he was getting what he wanted, he would be happy. And he just ended up ghosting me. So I haven't heard from him still to this day. So I end up moving on, and then I got approached by another guy. So we was talking to each other on TikTok. Every time I go on live, he would be on my live. We would talk. He would ask me some nice questions, but I wasn't falling for it. It's like TikTok men, they too good to be true. They are these dreamy men that always tell you what you want to hear. They will spit the right things to you to make you feel like, oh, he really want this type of girl. He really want this and that, and it makes you fall for it. So you be like, okay, I want this guy. Like, how can I shoot my shot and win? And mind you, there's so many other girls who's doing the same thing, falling for the same things and wanting the same things. So they trying to shoot their shot as well. So it's this guy always making videos about soul ties and soulmates, and him wanting to be married with kids. He has a job. He has his own house. He has a car. And everybody's just falling at his feet like, oh my God, you're such an amazing man. You're the best man ever. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, you sound like a good guy, but what is wrong with you? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm saying, if you have all these things and you're such a good man and you got all these great quality traits, why are you single? And then you say you've been single for as long as you have. And I'm like, when you are single for more than a year or two, something has to be wrong with you. And we want to know what that is. So since nobody was going to ask that question, I asked. And I was like, yo, not to be rude or anything, but can it ain't no way in hell they there's nothing wrong with you, and you've been single for all these years. Like, I'm not gonna be single for no reason. Obviously, there's something about me that's wrong that got me single and single for as long as I've been single for. So even though he didn't want to say it to me, I kind of started to figure it out slowly as I keep watching his lives. And I was like, oh, he's looking for a certain type of Barbie doll. That explains it. And then I was like, but what about soulmates? What about what really means to you other than the physical? Then he would start to be picking on females about their character traits. Meanwhile, your character traits is just as bad as anybody else because you look at females on a financial and physical level. You're not looking at them on a spiritual level. You're not looking at them for what's on the inside and what their mindset is all about. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to touch that subject. So next dude. And about a month later, it's December, and I meet somebody brand new. Now, this is the one I thought was going to be my end or be all type of person because he had everything that I was looking for. He was such a God fearing man. He was a nice person. He was a family man. The only bad thing about it is that he lived with his mother, but I overlooked that. And I care more about his traits and who he was as a person. So I was like, let me get to know this person. So we started having conversations on and offline. We switched numbers. We started talking to each other more offline. And as we started to get to know each other, I started to realize this guy couldn't be any more perfect than now. And I'm like, yo, let me keep digging into his life. So I asked as much questions as I could, and he answered it honestly, and he answered it quickly. So he decided he wanted to come see me. I did not think he was going to really travel up to New York to come see me, but he did. Deep down inside, I wanted to be with him, but I just couldn't put my finger on what was going on with him. So after spending much time with him and on the phone and in person, I started to realize he was not a grown man. He was a grown boy. Let me not get into that subject because it's a long story and I ain't got that much time. So long story short, a couple of days later after spending time with this person and getting to know him, I realized that we was not the same. We had nothing in common, and I couldn't deal with somebody that I had to raise. And I was not about to raise no man. And then I realized he was a mama's boy. Then I realized he was an emotional wreck. He was an emotional lunatic. So I asked him 3 important questions that I knew he was going to get. Do you know what a soulmate is? Do you know what a soul tie is? And where do you see yourself a couple of years from now? So I was like, okay, he gave me the right kind of answers, but at the same time, it still wasn't hitting it. It wasn't what I expected. But yeah, I decided to leave it alone. So, like I said, long story short, we wasn't meant to be, and I became less and less attracted to him. But back to my original subject I was talking about as far as soul contracts. To me, soul contracts is a bond. It's something that's already created between you and a person that you thought would be your forever. You know, someone that's potentially can be your husband or your wife, and you would know if that's your soulmate just off the feeling, just off the conversations you have, and it feels like you know each other forever. So you feel like it's so easy to love this person. It's so easy to be around this person. And to me, that's what a soul contract is. And that's something that can't be broken unless you wanted to break it. I have plenty of soulmates, but them soulmates was just a lesson learned. And I completely learned my lesson from all of them to never try to assume that everybody is your potential soulmate because you have so much in common with them. And just because you had a good relationship with them and y'all got along so well doesn't mean they will be your end all be all. There's people out here who have like you who isn't like so calm, like how you say, they don't have nothing in common, but they managed to work it out and still be together. You got people who's been so like feel like they've been soulmates for years, they got a soul contract, but they still not together. And it's very tricky because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's your soulmate and how to identify it. But now is the time to learn how to identify those traits. Now, I do feel my soulmate coming near me. And right now, I do have a soul contract with somebody. But too bad I'm never going to see that person ever again. I don't know if he's been looking for me, but I can't find him. And what I truly believe is if it's meant for us to be together, we will be just like my future husband. If it's meant for me and my future husband to bump into each other, the universe and God will find a way to bring us together, whether it's over the phone, whether it's online or out here in person. But I take the spiritual realm very seriously. I take my life seriously and I take everything serious. And yeah, some of y'all might not believe in this stuff. Y'all might not believe in soul karmics or whatever, like twin flames, but I had my twin flames. I was deeply in love with my twin flame, but my twin flame was not my soulmate. If y'all don't believe in tarot card readings, that's fine. If you don't believe in spiritual stuff like this, then that's fine. To each his own. But I'm telling you, it's real, and y'all should not write it